501c3 organization called Handz Foundation. We focus on epilepsy awareness. We're one right now, one of the only organizations in the state that deals with epilepsy. We concentrate on educating, supporting, and just being advocates for those of us that live with epilepsy. I myself had it since I was 9. So going around, talking to different people like myself and family members who are dealing with loved ones that have it. That's our general focus. Um, I also am an author of a children's book called The Adventures of Kimmy and Wally, Wally to the Rescue. That book is kind of my story. I went through a bad bout of epilepsy a couple of years ago. So I just made myself a little kid and my dog a puppy, and showing that, support can come in many forms, in many ways, just to show the kids that even though, your friend may be going through something, or maybe that you don't really understand, you can still be there to support them. And it'll make them feel better through the
Mhm,
process. So.
mhm. Now, for our listeners, can you give us a little bit more context of what is epilepsy, and I guess what is it like for a person living with epilepsy?
Epilepsy is a seizure disorder. It's kind of a brain disorder rather, that can cause you to have seizures. They come in different forms. You can have the nocturnal seizures. Like I've had them all, but the last ones I had were nocturnal, which were in your sleep, and they're very dangerous. You can also have what's commonly known as the grandma seizures, where you see the people shaking and jerking and twitching and stuff. And then you can have the staring seizures, which people don't really know that you're having them, because they last seconds, and you could just like zone. It looks like somebody's just zoning out,
Hmm.
but really they're actually having a seizure. So
Hmm.
yeah.
So, what has it been like, building a non-for-profit organization? Like I said, I mean, and clearly it's something that you're passionate about because it's something
Right.
that you can personally relate to. What has that been like building a non-for-profit around this initiative?
Well, it's not easy, especially being that I have epilepsy, and I have my good days and my bad days. But it's actually rewarding at the same time. Because I'm doing what God's gift for me to do, and to go around and helping and supporting people. So it, it's it's actually pretty good. I actually enjoy it. Meeting people, meeting different people, and helping them. So.
Hmm. Now, how did you find, I guess, trying to navigate in those early stages of like all the paperwork and just like the organizational side? How was that experience?
Well, well, let me tell you. Okay, so the whole story behind how Hardy Hands came to me was I was in church,
Uh-huh.
and God said just put it on me to do it. So I just jumped right in, which kind of was the best way to do it, because had I known what I know right now, I would still be like, well, and I'll do it in a minute, but. But luckily, I've met and had cross paths with a lot of people that have been able to help me with the paperwork, because it's like a foreign language. It's a different whole another language. But yeah, I've tried to navigate real well. We just got our 501c3 in February,
Mhm.
and after I went through that process, I was like, well, dang, I could have had this like a year ago.
Well, congratulations on getting the 501c3 status.
Thank you. Thank you.
That is amazing. Yeah, because I always find it whereas most of our audience is usually professionals or entrepreneurs or like for-profit businesses, but
Right.
I've always had a place in my heart for non-for-profit organizations. Even during the early years of developing my accounting career, my career in business, I also worked on staff for a Christian church, and just in that
Right.
non-for-profit capacity,
Hmm.
there's just so many parallels on how you run an organization, setting an
Yeah.
organization up, like, building the right team around so the
Yeah.
organization can achieve the objective. So I think that there's so many parallels there, and that organizational side of getting the right paperwork is just like, yeah, there definitely some
Yeah.
parallels there.
It really is. It's like now I've gotten past the actual paperwork, the legitimacy and everything. Now it's going on to the grant stuff. Now
Hmm.
hit me up in 6 months to see how if I still have if I don't have all gray hair. I get a
Gotcha.
whole different story.
Now, how do you have you gone about developing partnerships with either donors or even with other organizations to do some of the events and the different activities that your organization is involved
Well, as far as the events go, so far I've done them on my own, because I had a fear of not being a 501c3 and then going out to these things. So, it's trying to get over your inside and your internal stuff.
in?
But I have been working closely and actually been taking. I have a mentor that in the organization called Angels of Epilepsy. Natalie Beaver, she has an epilepsy organization in Atlanta. Now, these epilepsy organizations are real rare in the South. So to find one so close by, that was the closest one. So I've kind of watched her and got a better feel of it and less stress. So just partnering with her and learning the ins and outs and stuff like that. And Morehouse College also, I've talked to a lot of the doctors and stuff there. They're doing case studies and everything. So you know that part of it, because I'm good at talking and networking. That part is good. Now the the money part of it, that part is what I'm working on. Improving and learning more. Marketing is also good, field I'm interested in and do good at doing too. So
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. Now, how have you found just the experience of, like I said, that once you got over the hurdle of getting the paperwork, and every entrepreneur, every business owner, or every founder of any organization has their own personal fears or challenges to overcome.
Yeah.
Like, how have you found ways to work around what those personal challenges are, or even just working through those fears or concerns?
My circle, my inner circle, that keep me one, accountable. Two, they look at me every time and say, I just want to quit. And I was like, no, crazy. No, you're not. So I mean, just having moments where I need to vent. When you need to vent, you need to vent. Just not allowing, just remembering why you're on this path is most important for me, because I have a personal stake in it. It means more. So most of my fears is just not wanting to fail, and not wanting what I feel is failing God, and not being able to do what He has gifted me to do. So those are my main fears. But the other stuff I could pretty much navigate through. I get in my own head. So staying out of my own head, basically. I'm a Virgo. That's what we do.
Gotcha.
And overanalyze stuff.
Mhm.
But yeah.
So now that you've started it, you've achieved the 501c3, kind of what is your long-term vision, or your view of where do you want to take, this organization?
Well, my first task that has gotten pushed back a little bit thanks to COVID-19 is I want to definitely start a support group. Um, the more and more people that inbox me or I come in contact with, have the same fears and concern I had when I was going through my bout with my seizures recently. Is you feel like you're alone. You feel like you don't have anybody to talk to, and it's not all about being an expert in the field of epilepsy or seizures or anything. It's just about being there to talk to somebody or just listen, and understand what they're going through, even if it's a parent of a child who has seizures, getting advice from them. Well, how did you handle um, when this medication didn't work and nothing else is working? Or should I try this? Or the doctor wants to put my baby on a medicine that's $900 and I don't really have the money. What should I do? Just getting advice and knowing that there are people you can lean on. So that is my next goal, is to really start and focus on that support group, and maybe doing more fundraisers to be able to assist them.
Hmm. So also, you've written a book. So tell us a little bit about, what was that experience like with writing the book and just coming up with the story and how you got the message across in the book.
This book was actually not hard necessarily, right? It came easier. Now the second one I'm trying to write now, I've got so many different ideas. I gotta put them all in one, decide which way I'm gonna go with it. But this is the book. It's the Adventures of Kimmy and Wally, Wally to the Rescue, written by me and my illustrator, Eric Cusack. It's about my story. I just made myself a little kid and Wally a puppy. Um, when I was having my first seizure about 3 years ago. It wasn't the first one, but it was the first one I've had in 8 years. So I was in my bed and I thought I was asleep. And when I woke up, when I started coming out of it, he was there with his paw on my arm. And for the next 3, 4 months, he followed me around the house. He wouldn't let me out of his sight because I started
Wow.
having seizures just about 3 to 4 times a week in my sleep. And my bedroom was downstairs, so I was the only one downstairs. So it was just me and him. So I just put it to where a kid could understand, you got your dog can be a support system for you too. Support comes in many forms. Like I was telling you earlier, it could be a dog, it could be your best friend, it could be your parents, it could be anybody. You can support people when they're going through stuff, and it'll make a whole world of difference.
Mhm.
Just knowing that you have somebody there that actually loves and cares about you.
Okay. So if you were to talk to someone that was telling you, hey, I have a friend or I have a family member, I have a loved one that, that has a disorder where they suffer from epileptic seizures, what kind of advice or comfort or words of wisdom would you give them?
Well, first of all, I listen to their story first. Sometimes that's what key is, listening. Sometimes there's nothing you can say that's going to come, especially when you're talking about when you have a parent coming to you about their child. It's not too much you can't say. You just can, to let them know that you understand what they're going through. For those of us that are actually having the seizure, um, it's just knowing that you're not alone. you know i'm I'm here for you. You have others that are here for you. Lean on your parents, lean on your family, lean on your circle. If you don't have a circle, I'll be your circle. My advocates will be your circle, my team. Just know that you're not alone. And if you ever need anything, Hardy Hands is here for you.
Awesome. So how can people get in touch with your organization? So if they want to follow you or your website or social media, how can they find you?
We are on all social media, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Facebook is the page that I commonly use. It's the Hardy Hands Foundation page on all social media. And they can also go to our website, hardyhands.com, and email me at hardyhands@gmail.com.
Awesome, awesome. Well, I want to say thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you
And
for having me.
oh, absolutely, and definitely wish you all the best as you continue to move towards that very very worthy mission that you have for your organization.